self-made for me is when I hear the word, I still think of collective. I mean, I might have a dream, but I need people around me to help me, achieve that. We did it.
I'm drinking, so it's probably my fault. It's my fault.
Who's not, man? I got one here too.
So you got the shot glass. I got the shot glass. Aren't they cool?
Is mine full? Yeah. Let's look.
There you go. Cheers, my brother. Cheers. Oh, I gotta pour this in. Do it right. So I was listening to Cheat Code just now on Mask On, and I had to. You know why?
Why's that?
Because you got a line in it about drinking McQueen, and I couldn't pass it up.
I think I might have the most McQueen lines in rap history right now.
I love it. Thank you for the support. Thanks for the love.
Always.
So, Chevy, so just so you know, at least if your fans know who the hell I am. Some people think I'm a vagrant, which I can pass as a vagrant anytime. But I own a bunch of liquor brands, everything from used to own Ace of Spades and Doucet and have Bel Air, Bamboo, our new one, Vion, and then a Taylor Gang favorite, yours, which is McQueen and the Violet Fog. I've been doing this a long time. It sucked getting here, but I love that I'm here now. That makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
And I started this series called Self-Made a few years ago, and I get to interview everybody from Wiz to Wayne to Ross, DJ Khaled, to when Post first got up and coming, when A Boogie first started. It's a few hundred people now, which is really cool. And what I like to focus on is what I call this self-made side. And it's the shit that people don't realize that you had to go through to get where you are, if people know who you are. So I started out the same way with everybody, and I'll ask you, what does self-made mean to you?
Self-made means to me is, when I hear the word, I still think of collective. Because you still have I might have a dream, but I need people around me to help me, achieve that. But they're also doing the things that they love to do. Like just for instance, the team over at Taylor Gang that handles everything on socials and all of that, they love to do what they do. They love their job. So they're self-made at what they do. I'm self-made at what I do. And when we come together as a collective, we're all in a self-made position, because let's be honest, nobody does everything on their own. Like we would need 30 of us to be able to handle everything that we got going on. So I feel like, self-made for me is just a collection of like-minded people that have the same dreams and aspirations, and they can be doing something different, but we're on our way to the big picture.
I was once asked, I was at a conference and someone asked, I can't remember the question, but the answer to me was, if I didn't have my brother with me when I first started, I needed somebody with me.
Right.
I just needed somebody else.
Right.
And because I lack that confidence on my own. I don't think I need that now. I don't need it now. But right. Back then, did you feel like, was that part of it at all for you? Meaning just having one other person or even a couple people in the camp?
Yeah, I think for me, it was the people that I grew up with in the music now, that are doing music now, and people that don't do music. They don't have Instagram or they don't have nothing like that, but they help groom me to where I wanted to go. So it can be stories that I rap about. It can be me going back home and us reminiscing on stuff. And even with like Sledgen stayed a block down from me, and we used to have to go to his house and yell out the window just to get a beat. Be like, because he's up there playing the beat and he got the window up, and you're like, I like that one, yo, let me get that on a CD. So he brings it downstairs and gives it to you on a CD. So like, even back then, we all needed each other, you know what I mean? And even to take it further, I knew I could rap, but I didn't know where I could take it until I met Wiz. So then came something bigger. Somebody had a bigger dream than what I thought of, and I just latched onto that and created a space for myself.
So use Wiz as the example. Forget Wiz as someone who he wasn't Wiz, meaning he wasn't famous. What did he have that provided you the tools, if you know what I mean?
I think it was I play sports where I've always practiced and, trained and stuff like that. Then I got the music, and I felt like I seen the same thing that, drove me to do sports and be great at that in high school and stuff like that. I think I seen that in him. I seen that this was his passion. This was his dream. He was always training. He was always practicing. He was always taking knowledge from, E. Dan and that Abbey Labs in the early days and stuff like that. So I feel like he was doing his training like that, and I seen that, and I was like, all right, bet. So if I put the effort that I used to do when I was playing sports into this the same way as somebody with the like mind, I need him around me. At the same time, I need to pick his brain. Even though he's younger than me, he has the knowledge of music and how to put bars in places and hooks and stuff like that and bridges. So I needed to learn all of that because otherwise I was just writing straight down a notepad and there was no song structure, no nothing. So I kind of learned that from him. So I needed that.
What do you think he picked up from you?
How to move, how to be in certain places, how to not be in certain places.
Is that just as important?
Yeah, for sure. It's one hand wash the other. You know what I mean? Because not to get too deep into it, but I was in the streets and like my homies and us, we was in the streets as well. So there would be certain situations where we'd be like, "Yo, this ain't. You might as well just go in and get up out of here." You know what I mean? So of course we grew up around it and lived around it, and that's not taking nothing from like him from the hood or anything like that. It's just having the knowledge of like somebody actually, my big homies actually saved me from a lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
They wouldn't let me do certain things. They wouldn't let me be around certain things that was going on. So I just took that and I knew that, he was 16, 17 years old. He's hanging out with us. We're getting him in clubs. He's getting kicked out of clubs and all types of stuff. So I just knew where to say, yo, you don't need to be here, or yeah, come through. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Did you mentioned basketball and sports? How important was that to you growing up?
oh, it was everything. In the summertime, I was super happy because we didn't have to get up for school, and all I can do is go to the playground all day long. Like sometimes, my mom used to have to come and get me. The lights would shut off. We would climb over the fence and flick the switch back up and turn the lights back on and be there till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. This is like 15, 16 years old. I had a dream that the sports was going to work because I was nice, but I wasn't putting in the full effort to be. I was just going off of talent. You know what I mean? I was beating everybody off of talent. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm cool here. But later on, I realized that there's a lot more that goes with talent. You got to put the work in. They'll put somebody that works harder in the position before they just say, okay, you're talented. We're gonna put you in. You don't got the work ethic. You can.
Do you think you? I had this conversation yesterday with his name is Yanga Chief, this dope ass artist out of South Africa, where I said, I told him I wish I had me back when I was 18 or 19 or 17. You know what I mean? Like I wish there was someone like me telling me, that it's fucking hard and you got to work at it and that's what you got to do. Did you have anybody in sports doing that, or you didn't?
Yeah. My dad was there in the early days. You know what I mean? Like when I was maybe 9, 10, 11. When I really started to love sports. So like, I think what he left an impression on me because I used to hear stories about him from his friends and stuff like that. So the same playground that I spent my days at, he spent his days at, perfecting what he did in sports. So those stories drove me to believe that, oh, well, I'm about to try to one up my dad. If they're talking about him like that, I want my people to talk about me like that and not like whether I'm around or not. You know what I mean? So I feel like, like I said, I had big homies, even with the rap stuff. Like my big homie lived across the street. He's actually my god brother. He used to always get instrumentals and just call me and be like, yo, come over here with your notepad. So I would just go over there and just, listen to music, listen to beats, rap lyrics back and forth. And that's where I really like hone my skills.
So when did basketball, and I want to say turn off, but when did that slow down and music pick up?
I think, I went to college for a year. So after my freshman year, I needed to, I was Prop 38, which is like probation for athletes. So I ended up.
Does that still exist today? I forgot.
Yeah, I believe so because they give the kids that don't have the SAT scores a chance
Yeah.
to go to school, and they put you on. Sometimes it's partial scholarship.
Yeah.
48. So I came in on Prop 48. And I had a mentor and all this stuff, and he was like one of these dudes that been at the school for 6 years after he graduated. So he was like trying to bully me with words and stuff like that. But I come from an area where, you can't do that to me because I already been around the worst of the worst and heard everything. So it was just once I left school and I had to go to summer school, my mom asked me, "What you going to do now?" And I was like, "I'm not going back to college." And I was like, "All right, bet." Then I was like, "All right, let me jump into the streets." So I got in the streets immediately after college, and I already knew what was going on. Like I would in high school, coming home from college, I already knew the situation. I knew the scene. I knew the people. I knew where to get whatever I needed. I knew how to move. Like, so all of that it was kind of easy. It was like a layup for me.
And how do you get out of that?
Just cold turkey. I mean, kind of got like an ultimatum from Wiz when we were going on the first tour, and he was just like, "Yo, bro, I don't feel like," which I needed. He's like, "Yo, bro, I don't feel like your heart's in it, full throttle. I'm gonna go on tour for 2 weeks, let somebody else do the hype man job, and then if you feel like that's what you want to do, then that's what you'll be doing." So what happened was I had spent all the money that I had. I'm not gonna say which drug, but I spent all the money that I had on drugs when he said that. So I'm like, oh shit, if I really want this, I got 2 weeks to get rid of everything, get the money situated, be able to leave. I'm in a relationship at the time and stuff like that. So I was scrambling and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to miss this opportunity like I missed the sports opportunity to not put the work in. So I'm like, all right, let me just go put the work in. 2 weeks, cold turkey, left, hit the road, and then look back.
How long's it been now?
Since that, maybe, that was like 2013, 2012.
When did Taylor Gang get created?
2009. So basically, we were already running around and moving around each other years prior to that. We just didn't have a name for what we did. We were a heavy hustle. That's what it was before. But we didn't have a name as a conglomerate, like a group. You know what I mean? So then Wiz came with the Taylor Gang, and we just followed suit.
Do you remember the first time out of the state, meaning touring, and that feeling of knowing, shit, does anybody know who the hell we are?
I don't know about for me being on stage for Wiz because it was always highlights. I feel like we went on the road when shit was popping off. So it was already like known. But for me personally, I toured with Kevin Gates.
Yeah.
And first show was in Houston. And, I'm thinking like, yeah, it's Taylor Gang. They obviously know what's going on. You know what I mean? So when I get out there, first song comes on, I start rapping the lyrics, crickets. Nobody moved. Nobody put their hands up. Nobody did nothing. I'm talking about 2,000 people. So I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, all right, I'm going to just finish the set. And then I seen him go on, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is that type of crowd. This type of movement. But still, you got to be able to adjust. So as I went on tour, after that, I learned how to, what songs to put on. I know what's going to make the crowd say, ooh, or make them, have a party and stuff like that. So I just thought I knew what was right until I seen that. And then the next couple shows, it turned up.
Because of COVID and because no one's been on tour and you can't do any of that, like, have you been thinking about like all the things now you want to do differently? You know what I mean? Like you want to do that you didn't do before on stage, or how to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just feel like it was a bad time, of course. You know what I mean? Of course, we getting out of it now. So if you made it through, God bless you. It was a bad time. So I had to find other stuff just to occupy my mind. You know what I mean? Even though we were in the studio, recorded like 3,000-4,000 songs in the pandemic because Wiz has the studio at his house. So we were just still working, but we just wasn't around people. I feel like, just doing that and having a break from everything, I feel like it was a reset for me to understand how to write music more, to understand, every record's not for me that I record. I can, give it to somebody else and it be popular as well. So beforehand, I might have been stubborn and say, this for me, this for me, this for me. Now my mind says, record it like this person, give it to this person. Just not for you, record your other stuff for you, separate from that. So
does it feel just as good?
Yeah, for sure. for sure. Because I wrote a record on Juicy J's album. You know what I mean? That he did basically, word for word almost. You know what I mean? So it was like that feeling right there, and then sitting in these writing sessions now and penning stuff for people, not necessarily knowing where it's going to go or if it's going to get used, just helping me sharpen everything that I got going on.
How did the food start?
I used to hang around the kitchen, man, with my mom and my grandma a lot. You know what I mean? So like, I would go play basketball, but when dinner time comes, I wouldn't go outside. I would just sit there, smell food, and talk to them. And once the pandemic hit, I was like, I've been cooking for a while for myself. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, what if I put a camera on it? I never really, and social media became that. So like, even when I was searching for a camera in the pandemic, there were no cameras. I was like,
Yeah.
this is fucked up. I'm really trying.
I remember that too.
I'm like, I can't find a camera.
I remember that too.
Yeah, so the team had to send me a camera, and that started like the streaming on the video games and stuff like that. And then I had my man Daniel Kelly come through with his camera because I just did it on my phone one time, and then I put it on my IG story, and people were like, "Damn, I look good, I look good." So I got in touch with DK, and we filmed the show. It took us 10 weeks, so we did one a week, and it took us 10 weeks to film the whole episode. And I was just coming up with the stuff in my head. I would open my refrigerator and be like, "All right, bet that's today." Then I go to the gym, I come back, take a shower, do my things, and then have him come over and film.
It makes me think, and I tell people all this all the time. My hardest decision in life was just deciding what the hell to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the easiest decision in life is deciding to do something you just love. Isn't it easy when you like something to just go and do it? If you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's way better. I feel like it's no pressure. You know what I mean? No pressure. Like, even though, if I'm writing the music in the studio and then I have to perform it, the pressure for me is just starting, hearing the beat drop on stage. But once I say the first word, I'm gone.
It's over.
Yeah,
it's over.
There's small pressure points. It's less pressure, but there's small pressure points where it just clicks and you're like, oh shit, all right, cool.
Do you set goals?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what do those look like?
Musically, I wanna write one of the biggest hits for an artist. It's not even about me at this point. Cause I feel like so long story short, I used to mock my teachers and kids and stuff in school. So I apply that to me changing my voice in the studio. So when I change my voice, I can sound like these artists, and when I present it, you know what I mean, it makes sense to them. It's like, oh shit, that's something I would have said. So that's the type of thing that I'm into now. I'm thinking way more ahead than just thinking for myself and keeping the songs and just staying tied in with like the culture of what you have to do as it shifts. So I'm pretty sure you with the liquor, there's culture, it shifts. So you have to do certain things to be in that culture. You know what I mean? Like I just turned 40, but I'm still in the culture and I know what's going on and I pay attention and I just adapt.
Correct. I was watching. I tell the story. I was watching the Last Dance. The Bulls, Michael Jordan, and Phil Jackson had a line in it, which was, pivot and pivot quickly. And I believe in that. You just gotta constantly be moving, constantly be trying things, constantly be changing when things happen.
Right.
Do you, like yesterday? I talked to this. I interviewed a kid out of South Africa, Yanga Chief, who I had never heard his music, and I was listening to it. I'm like, oh my god, I love this. Like, do you ever hear a new artist and think, I want to write something for this guy?
All the time.
And what happens?
I don't reach out immediately. I kind of like when I think like that for artists, I already think that they have what they have going on. So you have to play to that, and it has to be perfect because they write their own music, or they can have their own writers or other writers or whatever. But it has to be perfect. It has to be the perfect time, perfect beat, perfect like the words, the bridge. You know what I mean? So it has to be for me. It has to be perfect for me to present it. I never just go in there and be like, all right, well, this is for so and so.
This is
take it out the studio, and I'm like, here. I already thought about everything that goes with it already.
When you mentioned, going up to, the window and say, telling Sledge, I like that beat, bring it down. Like, can you imagine that? Can you imagine telling somebody that? And he puts it on a CD and he brings it down to you and you have it. Do you think it would just be easier to start today? Or are you happy that you fucking know how hard it was back then and how easy it is today in the sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what I always tell people too. I always use this analogy. Everybody's seen a Biggie Smalls rapping on a Stoop video. Can't do that no more.
Yeah.
So times definitely change. You have to get on your socials. You have to be in people's faces. You have to be on TikTok. You have to be. I'm not saying you have to be popular. You just have to work towards what you want. So if you go somewhere, you definitely need social media, to make that go up. If you want to be a musician, an artist, a cook, a chef, we see a lot of that. You know what I mean now. So you just have to. Like I said, you got to move with the times. I know that I can rap my ass off, but at the same time, people are listening to beats and melodies and how does it sound in the club and things like that. So you just have to adapt to certain things, but still keep your core foundation.
Give me three shout outs in your life.
My cousin Jermaine, which he passed away in 2007, but that's who helped us create Heavy Hustle, which brought us all together on some Taylor Gang shit. My mother, because she put up with a lot of shit without my dad being there. They gotta go family, man. I gotta shout out both my little brothers on the third one. Because one of my middle brother, which is Ludi, he stays in the mix. So I kind of like get, the wild shit that goes on from him. He tells me and feeds me the wild shit. But then my little brother, as my nephew, which is Lil Steven, and to see him raise a kid, I gotta shout him out. And like the love that he gives his kid and the support and the time that he didn't get, it's crazy that I have a stepdaughter and I raised her still to right now, from 1 to 18. She's 19, matter of fact, now. So he's seen me do that, and I feel like, without him telling me, I feel like he got that.
Sure.
But he didn't have dad around. So how did he learn that? Oh, well, he's seen me in the way that I moved around with my stepdaughter. So yeah.
I love it. Well, I think it's really cool because I'm very fortunate. I get to interview so many people, but I've got to interview basically, I think everybody. Maybe I'm missing a couple within Taylor Gang. What I think is so cool is you guys are so in sync. And if you ask, it's like the dating game. If you ask one person a question, the other one will know the answer. Everyone's got the same answer, the same vibe, the same focus. I don't know many non-family families that have the same thing going on. It's just awesome. But Chevy, I love hearing your story. I think we're going to do something with Chris. I think we're going to do something with Fed. I'm sure you're involved in some way or another in this.
Yes.
The more I can support and what I'm doing in your space, that's what I love. I just think it's awesome. But I truly appreciate you participating in Self-Made and hearing your story, and for others to hear it too. Anything I could possibly do, please ask, all right?
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Keep drinking too, and keep us in the lines, all right?
You already know it, man. Peace out.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you.